Hi everyone, I'm Ashley and I'm a full-time artist. I've been busy the past 2 weeks getting my daughter ready to move away to school, and we finally got her moved into her freshman dorm at NC State where she'll be studying engineering. I did try to plan ahead and I recorded a process video of this Taylor Swift painting right before we left for Raleigh, but I realized later that I had accidentally recorded a majority of it as a slow motion video instead of a time lapse, and the video ended up being about 75 hours long. So I just actually ended up deleting it. But I do have these 2 short clips that were recorded correctly, and this painting was inspired by the announcement of her new album, and yes, I am a Swiftie. After all the college moving, I was mentally and physically exhausted, and it's taken a few days to get back into the swing of things at work. I did sleep in this particular day in the life morning, and Max was so confused as to why I was still in bed at 9:30. At work, I had a few works in progress that I'd left out from the night before, and I started working on them right away. And I'll be honest, this day I was feeling really tired and lacking my normal creative energy, and when I feel like that, I just like to paint freestyle with no planning or expectations. And I'll usually put on a show that I can listen to that doesn't require me to pay much attention at all. That's why you'll see the show Scandal playing for this entire day. I spent the morning painting on cardboard, just making up little scenes as I painted, and the goal was just to make something and get the creativity flowing. These cardboard pieces are cut from shipping boxes, and I always have to laugh when I see this adulting meme because I can never pass up keeping a good quality, sturdy shipping box. I really like painting on cardboard because it's such a smooth, porous surface. And I love the idea that it's something that has been recycled. I will eventually varnish and package my cardboard pieces as inexpensive pieces of art in my store, and I love that many of them will have a shipping label or even packing tape still on the back. After a while, the clutter and mess of my workspace started getting to me, so I found a stopping point and cleaned everything up. Also, Wookie was ready to go out, so I decided it was time to take a walk down the street. There aren't a lot of visitors in town right now, but it still seems busy and full of activity. Down the street, I ordered my lunch usual and visited my friend Molly at her pop-up shop, only to find her doing some display spruce up for my husband's shop. I rarely get a chance to just walk around his store and see what's new, and I'm obsessed with these water bottles. Not from a practical standpoint, but who designed these adorable animals? My lunch was finally ready, and Wookie and I headed back to the store. Public service announcement: Taylor's new album will be out October 3rd, and I'm counting down the days. Also, while I'm recording this video, my phone keeps blowing up from friends calling because Taylor and Travis just announced their engagement. It's probably going to take me 10 hours to record this. Back at the store, I wasn't really hungry yet, so I was back to watching Scandal, and I decided to organize and sort out all of my paintbrushes since I've been putting it off for a while. Yes, there are a lot of them because I'm very hard on my paintbrushes, and they're all in various states of ruin and decay. But I really love an old ruined paintbrush in parts of my painting process, but I also need new brushes as well, so I just end up with a lot of them. I recently bought these wood silverware organizers to sort out all of my acrylic paint pens and pigment sticks, so I cleaned up all of those as well. Surprisingly, I did have some customers here and there, and then I was finally ready to eat lunch and sat down for the first time. One of my least favorite things to do is computer work and phone calls, so since I didn't really have a specific project on my brain for the day, I decided to bite the bullet and get that done. I did go through a creative streak of landscapes and bears recently, and here are a few of those completed pieces. I'd run out of small bears, and bears are very popular for visitors to the Smoky Mountains because you can usually spot a few real bears around in the national park area. I also sold a handful of really large landscapes in the past few weeks, and my walls were lacking some larger pieces, so that was the inspiration behind these. And here I am a few hours later, still doing administrative work. I can't even remember what I was working on, honestly, but I obviously needed chocolate to get me through it. I felt really productive from whatever it was that I finished up, and I pulled out a pet portrait commission that I needed to finish up for someone. I'm always working on various pet portraits for people, but I never have anything to show for it because they're automatically shipped when I'm finished. It's always in the back of my mind that I should focus on making more samples for my store at some point, just so I don't have to send people to my Etsy shop or Instagram to see pet portrait examples, but I never quite get around to that project. Also, I really didn't have much left on this painting at this point, just some final touch-ups and a few whiskers here and there. After I was done with the dog portrait, I got back to painting my cardboard paintings and adding in some detail. Just like the cardboard is a favorite thing of mine, I also love acrylic markers and pens. The paint application is so precise, and I can add all kinds of detail that would be much harder to add with a paintbrush. I ended up finishing 6 of the cardboard paintings, which I then varnished and packaged. I usually sell these for a price point of between $14 and $24, and I'm always surprised at how quickly they sell in the store. I'm still working on my 30-day painting project too, where I take whatever leftover paint I use in any particular day and add it to these larger canvases. I really like projects like this where I will put specific parameters around it, like a time period or even a certain number of works that need to be completed in a series. It really gets me out of my comfort zone and into a more experimental mode, which I think is really important to my own creative process. Right now I'm working on 6 of these simultaneously, and each canvas has a card that I keep track of the day that I added to it. When the card reaches 30 days, I will consider the painting associated with that card is finished. So far, I'm up to about 12 days on a few of them. One of the hardest parts of this project for me though is working on it for 30 days because I have to be willing to paint over a lot of the previous layers even if I'm in love with them. The project also allows for a lot of experimentation though with color, since I don't necessarily know what paint I'll be using, since I'm restricted to colors that I'm using on current projects. There are a lot of happy accidents happening, as Bob Ross would say. My final vision is to float frame these canvases and then add the card log of the dates to the back of each painting as part of the piece. Once I was finished with all my extra paint for the day, I moved back to the dog portrait, which was finally dry enough to varnish. Then, because I am impatient, I used a hairdryer to dry the varnish enough so that I could set it into a frame to see the finished look. I think she turned out super sweet, and I can't wait for the customer to get this one. While I had my varnish out, I remembered that I still needed to varnish this small series of chicken paintings that I had finished. These are based on a few of my own chicken flock members, and the Bok Bok bitch saying is from Aquafina in the movie Crazy Rich Asians. Then after I finished those, it was time to call it a day and head to one last stop. We just finished the Pine Cottage renovation, and I didn't think that we would be doing any other renovation projects anytime soon, but of course, that did not last long. One of my husband's employees and friend needed a place to live in town, and he was offered this rundown tiny house for sale, so we purchased it and moved it to some land nearby that we have to renovate. And I know it's not much to look at before, but it was the right price, and I promise we do have a vision for it. Driving up, you can see that the renovation is already well underway, and you can see the whole process on the Perkins Builder Brother channel. I'll link that in the description of this video for you, but it's turning out really nice so far, and I just had to check on the granite that was installed. It has a small living area, bedroom, bathroom, and galley kitchen, and almost every single part of the inside has already been replaced. The front porch also has a great view of the mountains in town, and I think our friend will really love it here. Finally, I headed home where my evening was some yard work and some detective work on whether a groundhog had moved in under our porch. It turned out that it was just this cute little gal, and I think we're gonna let her stay. And that's the end of this day in the life video. I hope to get back on a posting schedule for the fall once I get settled into a new routine. Also, let me know if you happen to be a Swiftie in the comments. I'd love to know that. And thanks as always for watching, and if you want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.